the Prop 47 for BSCC. I just wanted to first off start by letting you know that this meeting is being recorded so that we can post it for anybody who's unavailable to attend today's meeting. So what the goal of today's meeting is just to discuss the Prop 47 Cohort 1 final local evaluation report. During this meeting today, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions as we go along. You can also ask questions in the chat. I have Elise Ram with me today. She's with the research unit at the BSCC, and she is helping me out with monitoring the chat. Again, please feel free at any point to ask questions, either unmute yourself and ask or type it out in the chat. Also, as we go through this, periodically I'll stop and ask if there are any questions. So what I want to start off with today is just do some introductions to see who all we have on the call. So I'll start off with myself, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through each of the lead agencies, and when I call out the lead agency that you're associated with, just unmute yourself, let us know your name and who you're with. So again, I'm Stacy Riley. I am the lead evaluator for Prop 47 with the BSCC. And why don't we go ahead and start with Alameda County Healthcare Services Agency. Do we have anybody on the line from Alameda County?
This is Debbie Mayer. I'm with Resource Development Associates, the evaluator for Alameda County.
Welcome, Debbie. Okay, how about the City of Corning?
Yes, this is Tom Forbes, or the evaluator for the City of Corning.
Welcome, Tom.
Thank you.
El Rancho Unified School District.
Hi, this is Jeff Middleton with El Rancho Unified School District.
Welcome, Jeff. Los Angeles City Attorney's Office.
This is Melissa Labriola with the RAND Corporation.
Hi, Melissa. Los Angeles Mayor's Office.
Hey, this is Zeta Davis with the City of LA Project Impact.
Welcome, Zeta. Los Angeles County Department of Health Services.
Hi, Stacy. It's Vanessa Martin with the Office of Diversion and Reentry. I think we have a bunch of other folks on as well.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
Hi, Brett Barton with MDRC Evaluator for ODR.
Hi, Brett.
Is anyone else on from LA Count from ODR or MDRC?
I guess it's just you two.
Okay.
They may jump on later.
Yeah.
Marin County Health and Human Services.
This is Bethany, the program evaluator for Marin.
Hi, Bethany. Merced County Probation Department.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Joel with Merced County Probation.
Welcome, Joel.
Steve Russos. I'm serving as the external evaluator for our hub project.
Welcome. Monterey County Health Department.
Yeah, good afternoon. Phil Sherwood from Monterey County Behavioral Health.
Hi, Phil.
And Ignacio Navarro from Cal State Monterey Bay.
Welcome, Ignacio.
It's Stacy Rose Moreno, Behavioral Health, Monterey County.
Hey, Rose. Okay, how about Orange County Healthcare Agency?
Chris here.
Hey, Chris.
Sorry, I joined late. Oh.
That's okay.
And hi, this is Erica, lead data analyst with Project Kinship. We work very closely with Healthcare Agency.
Hi, Erica.
Hi.
And this is Lee Courtney, Bryce Peterson, and Libby Doyle with the Urban Institute, the evaluator for Orange County.
Welcome, everybody from Urban. Okay, Pasadena Police Department.
Yes, ma'am. Commander Jason Clausen. And I also have Kimberly Seaman, my finance director, with me here.
Welcome. Placer County Health and Human Services.
Hi there, it's Nancy Callahan with Idea Consulting, and I'm the evaluator for Placer County. Thanks. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Nancy. City of Rialto.
Hi, Stacey from the City of Rialto.
Hi, welcome. Okay, Riverside University Health System.
Hi, hello, this is Susanna Juarez-Williamson. I'm the supervisor for evaluations for Riverside University Health System, Behavioral Health, and I also have with me here our research specialist, Nicholas Chavez, who will also be working the data with me.
Hello.
Great. I welcome both of you. San Bernardino County Department of Public Health.
John Reitzel, I'm Cal State San Bernardino, and working with the San Bernardino County Department of Public Health.
Also online is Nicole Henley,
Yes.
John's colleague, also one of the evaluators for Prop 47 for public health.
Okay, welcome, John and Nicole. County of San Diego.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Janie Regier with the lead agency, County of San Diego. And I see that we have our representative from our partner agency, Angela Law, with the City of San Diego Office of the City Attorney representing the SMART program. And we have two representatives from our evaluator, San Diego Association of Governments. That's Sandy Keaton and Elizabeth Jones from the Applied Research Division.
Great, welcome everybody. San Francisco Department of Public Health.
Hi, this is Christy Glatz from Hatchell Tabernick and Associates. We're the evaluator for SFDPH on this grant.
Hi, Christy, welcome. San Joaquin County Behavioral Health Services.
Yes, Janelle Fredrickson calling from San Joaquin County.
Welcome.
And my name is Mark Saville. I'm a researcher at UCSF, also doing the evaluation with San Joaquin.
Welcome, both of you. How about Solano County Health and Health and Social Services?
Hi, this is Kate Grammy, SED Administrator from Solano County.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Nina Messina, the evaluator from Envisioning Justice Solutions for Solano County.
Hi, welcome, Nina.
Thanks.
And Yolo County Health and Human Services.
Hi, my name is Anissa Vallejo. I'm with Yolo County Health and Human Services.
Hi, Anissa.
And this is Debbie with RDA. We're also the evaluator for Yolo County.
Wonderful. Welcome again, Debbie. Okay, fantastic. Thank you all again for joining us today. Before we get started, I had somebody reach out asking about presenting the findings or publishing the evaluation findings beyond just the 2-year report. And so, or I'm sorry, the final evaluation report. So I did just want to let you guys know that the BSCC definitely encourages you to share these findings in any venue that you see fit. We do ask that you adhere to the BSCC guidelines on publications, and the information on that can be found beginning on page 35 of the BSCC Grant Administration Guide. So please review those if you do decide you want to present or publish these findings. If you're doing a presentation, we just ask that you include a statement on one of your slides indicating that the project was funded in part by the BSCC. And again, the language for that statement can be found in the grant guide on page 35. So, Okay, any questions before we get started? Okay, I apologize. Apparently the neighbors decided to start mowing their lawns right as we started. So the joys of working from home, I apologize if you can hear that in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by sharing my screen. So just pulling up these are just the guidelines that I sent out along with the email invitation for this meeting. And so you should have these. If not, please feel free to reach out to me after the meeting and I can send those to you. So the grant period ends on August 15th of this year. And that's when you can no longer, that's the last date that you can provide services. The final evaluation report is due to the BSCC by September 30th of this year. You can send that either directly to me, to Damien, who is the field rep, or you can send it to the Prop 47 evaluator mailbox. Any of those avenues will get it to where it needs to go. So they're due by September 30th. I know there are several of you that are, because of the 1-year extension, you're going to finish up before then, or you have finished up already. Please don't feel like you have to wait until September 30th to submit it. Definitely always willing to accept these early. We've had one grantee who has finished up and submitted everything and they're done. So anytime you have it ready to go, please feel free to send it in. Don't need to wait until the 30th. Now for this, just really, I want you to think of this more as an extension of the 2-year preliminary evaluation report that you have already submitted. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to rewrite the entire document. Some of the information, a good chunk of the information that's in your 2-year report is going to remain unchanged, such as the project description. Or you may need to update it related to COVID changes that happened due to COVID or something like that. But don't reinvent the wheel. Take what you have from your 2-year report as a starting point to work on this final evaluation. Now, that being said, this report should focus more heavily on the outcome evaluation, whereas the 2-year report mostly focused more heavily on the process evaluation. So there will need to be adjustments made to that, but definitely use that as a starting point. So I'm just going to walk through this. Again, as I said, feel free to unmute yourself at any time if you have questions or type in a message in the chat. Either is fine. But I'm just going to start by walking through, starting off with the executive summary, which is just that, a summary of the project, talking about its purpose, the major findings, and the conclusions. There are 6 questions that you need to address in that executive summary. And those are, did the project work as intended? What were the project's accomplishments? What goals were accomplished? What problems or barriers were faced and how were they addressed? Any unintended outcomes, both positive and negative? And what were the lessons learned? So for this section, think about really what is the main thing you want the reader to take away, because the reality is at least half the people that pick up your report, they'll read the executive summary and stop there, or maybe read a few pieces here or there. So really try to focus on, what's the main message that you want to get across with your executive summary. Next section is the project description. And this is just the information that's essential to understanding the grantee's project. Now, this information is basically to provide the context to help understand the rest of this report. Now, this is something that you can easily pull from your 2-year report. You already have that. You may need to update it based on changes that had to be made due to COVID. But for the most part, this section should probably already be written. You do want to make sure in there you include a description of your project goals and objectives that were originally stated in the project evaluation plan way back from when you submitted the proposal. What was that, 2017, I believe? So you do want to make sure you include those. Any questions at this point? Okay, we'll move to the research design section then. And this section, you're going to be evaluating, describing both the process evaluation, which is evaluating how the project was implemented, and the outcome evaluation, or the effectiveness of the project. So the process evaluation, again, a big chunk of this should already be written in your 2-year report. So you'll need to update it. Again, you'll need to add information related to changes that were made due to COVID-19. But update the information, update the evaluation, but a good chunk of that should be in your 2-year report. The outcome evaluation is, again, as I said, just to an assessment of whether the project worked. Did you achieve the goals you had set out to achieve? Did the interventions work to reduce recidivism? So in this section, you want to talk about things such as the outcome variables, the methodology that you used, description of, if you had a comparison group, a description of that comparison group, the sample size of the comparison group, eligibility, that type of information. You want to include operational definitions of the variables. Include a description of any interventions or services that were provided. Include such things as the number of participants that received the interventions or services, a list of eligibility criteria for the participants, age, gender, type of offense, whatever that criteria happened to be for your project. Also, you want to talk about the program itself, if there were specific treatment components, such as, the training topic, services provided, the length of the program. You want to include a definition for your criteria for successful completion of the program. And a description of how you treated those who did not complete the program in the research. So did you include them as a control group, for example, or as a comparison group? Or how did you treat those, if you did at all? And if you didn't, describe that as well. So again, just going into the details of the research design.
Can I ask a question about that? Is that okay? Or do
yes,
you want to just wait
definitely.
till the end?
No, go ahead.
Great,
Go for it, Sandy.
So that's an interesting, so you're saying, I want to make sure I'm understanding, because usually if they're in the if they're in the study, they're in the study. So you're asking us to say how we incorporated successful versus non-successful in our analysis. Is that what I'm hearing you say? I just want to make sure I'm understanding it.
Right. So, well, yes, and it's broadly. It could be, you know, are they all just included in one large group, or are you looking at those that successfully completed versus those that did not successfully complete the program? You know, maybe you're looking at incorporating creating a variable of duration and looking at how long they were in the program if they didn't complete, or however, whatever it is that you're doing with that information.
Got it.
Any other questions? Thank you, Sandy. That's a great question. Okay, so for the data collection section, again, you can describe the data that you collected, the source of that data, data collection methodologies, such as the tools you used, frequency, when they were collected, how they were collected, and the methodology for analyzing that data. If you had difficulties with data collection, describe them, talk about how they may have influenced final results. Inevitably, there's always going to be issues with data collection in the real world where people disappear or you don't get the information that you need. And so when you have things like that that might influence the outcome, make sure you talk about that in there. For your results and conclusion, make sure that these tie back to your goals and objectives that you stated at the beginning of the project in your proposal. You want to talk about the outcome measures and a description of the results for those outcomes. Describe any analyses that you did, a detailed explanation of the type of analyses, the data that was included, any of the variables, controlling variables that were included in that analysis. I am going to recommend, this isn't something that's by any means required, but I am going to recommend that you analyze your data looking at pre-COVID versus post-COVID. We do know there were a lot of you had to shift how you were doing things once COVID hit, and you may still be doing what your services look like now may very well still be very different than they were initially. So if there were substantial changes, I encourage you to look at that as a variable. So look at your results prior to March 20th versus post March 2020. And then if there are differences, make sure you address those differences. Obviously, that's something that everybody had to deal with, and everybody had to deal with it differently in terms of providing services to the participants. So particularly if your services look drastically different than they did initially, I encourage you to look at that. Make sure at some point, somewhere in your final report document, you include a final unduplicated count of your participants and include a breakdown of the unduplicated count by age, race and ethnicity, and gender. Excuse me. So I know in the past, I think it was the last time I asked you for an update for unduplicated counts was about a year ago. So this will be sort of your final reporting of that data, so we can update our dashboard to reflect a final count of participants that receive services. Now, I know, kind of jumping back to COVID a little bit, I know that it has sort of taken over our world for the past year, and we're still sort of living in it. But when you're writing this, keep in mind that most of the services were done pre-COVID. So don't, although we tend to be focused on that because it's what we're living with right now, don't let that portion take over your final report. Make sure you look at everything in context, and remember that most of those services that were provided were pre-COVID. Okay, any questions at this point? No? Okay. You also want to include your logic model. And again, you have submitted this previously, so just make, look it over, see if there's any updates that need to be made to it. But if there are updates, make sure to do that. Otherwise, that probably is already completed as well. The other component of this is the grantee highlights, and this is an optional submission that will be included in the statewide final evaluation report. Many of you submitted these with the 2-year report, and I have to say that honestly, I had so much fun reading these. I so enjoyed it. You guys were so creative, and these were just so great. I so enjoyed them because every single one was so different in terms of the graphs or the stories that they included. And I really enjoyed it. I really encourage you to submit them again. All of the grantee highlights that were submitted with the 2-year report were posted on our website. Unfortunately, the statewide 2-year report never got published because it was in the process of being finalized when COVID hit and got pushed to the back burner. And since it wasn't legislatively mandated, it just kept getting postponed. So it was never released. But the final report definitely will be released, and the statewide report and these grantee highlights will be included. And again, as I said, these were just such a joy to read. I really enjoyed reading these. So I encourage you to get creative and have fun again. This is just a 1-page, basically you can do whatever you want in this section. It's an opportunity for you to share your success story. It could include program highlights. We had some that were like infographics that had a lot of different statistics on it of participants served, the demographics, what services they received. It can be a success story that you would like to share. If you have a participant that just this program really changed their life and you would like to share that, whatever you would like to include. Think of this as the statewide report will be sent out to legislators, and maybe the legislature for your area says, hey, I want to see what Orange County did. And they can open it up and read Orange County's little grantee highlight. And it's a source for them to go to that information for that grantee to look at very quickly without having to go through the entire report and pull out pieces of information that are related to that specific grantee. So have fun with these. For the most part, when I was getting these ready for the 2-year report, there were very few changes that I needed to make. As I say on the sheet here, that we make every effort to include the pictures and graphs and charts, but we can't guarantee it depending on space constraints. And I for the most part, was able to work it so everything that people submitted was included. So I will try very, very hard to do that again. So, but I do want to note this little bit here, that if you do include photographs that include individuals, make sure that all of the individuals are over the age of 18 and have consented to both being photographed and to the use and release of this image. So make sure that that is the case, or that the picture is in a way that that individual isn't identified. So maybe if you see like the back of them or something. But again, I encourage you to do this. It's not required. But as I said, I did really enjoy reading these, and I think they're a great opportunity for you to find some way to showcase your project beyond just the 2-year report. So
Stacy, we do have a question from the chat as well.
Okay.
The question was, does the report need to be organized in the exact same format as the document? For example, I would like to put my logic model earlier, as well as the data collection information.
Yes, excellent question. And I meant to say that, and I apologize for not. No, it does not need to be in this format. To be honest, this was written pre my time at BSCC, and I wouldn't organize my report this way, but that's what we have to work with. So feel free to use whatever organization and whatever format works best for you. If you have sort of a template that you use, please feel free to use that. As long as the information that's on the guidelines is included, it does not have to be in this specific format. So, and I'm not going to go through and when I'm reading these, I'm not going through and checking off the boxes to make sure you've addressed every little thing that's on here. I just, this is just really a guide to direct you to make sure that you hit all of the main aspects of the report.
Stacy, I just want to clarify, because you introduced using the second year report that we did. So are you envisioning we're just going to resubmit that same information but add on to it? Or do you want us to say, okay, that's already submitted, I'm not going to do it again, I'm going to start anew? What would you prefer?
You know, it's up to you, to however you're most comfortable doing it. My thought is you don't have to start from scratch. I mean, the description, the project description, that probably is mostly the same from the 2-year report. So why rewrite it? You know, take that, what you've already written, and plug it in for your final report. You may have to update it for any changes that were related to COVID or anything like that. But, you know, for me, the way I visualize these is sort of as this progression of you did your proposal, or, you know, way back, you did your proposal, you take that and you develop that into your 2-year report. And then the final report is an extension of that 2-year report. Does that answer your question, Sandy?
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Other questions?
We've got one more question in the chat.
Okay.
Asking, is the data presented in the LER supposed to be cumulative?
Yes, it should be cumulative from the beginning of the grant. Excellent question. Thank you. Other questions?
I have a question about the recidivism analyses. Are you looking for a sort of global recidivism rate for every single participant, or can we present different recidivism rate? Present the recidivism rate for different groups? And the question is because in our in our county, we have different types of services. Like we have let's say a sobering center, and where clients come in and out, some come back, some don't. And then other clients get the full, wraparound sort of services, and, they're not comparable. So can we present, these two groups separate, or are you looking for one global number that you're going to aggregate in the end?
You know what, there's not a specific set format. So I can understand where, the sobering center likely will have very different recidivism rates than those that receive wraparound services. And if it makes sense to report those separately, please by all means do. So yeah, we don't need like one set global, comprehensive recidivism rate for your participants. There really is a lot of freedom with this report into how you want to tell your story. So, think about this report as just, your opportunity to tell your story with what has happened over the past 4 years. And however you decide to tell that story it's up to you.
Great, thank you.
Other questions?
Stacy, this is Bethany. I just wanted to double check. So this one pager that you're on right now, that can be public, but is the full final evaluation report also published to the public?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent question. Thank you, Bethany. Yes, we do. Once we have reviewed all of the final evaluation reports, we do publish links to those on our website.
Great, thank you.
So, and once those are available on our website, I will also send out a link to all of you. So you guys, if you want to share that with other stakeholders, you can do that. And you also can, at that point, share it on your own website as well, if you decide you want to do that, or share it in other means. Other questions? You guys are all ready to get to work on this and ready to be done with this. I will say, you guys, I so enjoy reading these reports, and I'm looking forward to when we get to be able to do site visits again, because the work that you guys are all doing is just so incredibly amazing. And it amazes me that you guys are able to do everything that you do with the limited resources that you have. And so, a big shout out to all the work you guys have been doing over the past 4 years, because it's just, it amazes me every single time. So,
Stacy, we do have another question in chat.
Okay.
When is Cohort 2 interim report due?
Cohort 2 interim report is due August 15th, 2021. And we do have a webinar scheduled for that for next week, I believe on Tuesday. If you need an invitation to that, send me an email and I can make sure you get that invite for those of you that are cohort 2. Any other questions?
Bethany again. I think cohort 1 was somewhat impacted by us starting cohort 2 because there were some clients somewhat similar. Might it also be appropriate, in addition to talking about the COVID context, also kind of talking about the context of bringing in a second cohort and how that might have impacted some of our cohort 1 numbers as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anything that has had or may have had an impact on your services, your participant counts, your findings, you feel free to include that in your report. You want to, again, kind of make sure that the reader has an understanding of what your participants experience, but also what you experienced on the ground with providing these services. Anything else? Well, you guys are awfully quiet today, so I guess I'm going to give you guys, 45 minutes of your time back. I always like to err on the side of caution of assuming things will take a little bit longer than shorter. Didn't expect us to be done in 45 minutes, but that's okay. So you guys have some free time to, hide out and don't tell anybody that you're done with your meeting early. If at any point in the process you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help you and support you in any way that I can when it comes to this final report. So, you have my email address. Feel free to reach out to me. Other than that, have a great afternoon. Have a great week, guys. I will talk with you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Stacy. Bye.
Thanks again, Stacy.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.